Welcome to episode 12 of Timm Talk, the podcast about the DC animated universe co-created by Bruce Timm. I'm Chris Lord.
I'm Cameron Dexter.
And we had a fun surprise this week when we sat down to watch these episodes. I was like, oh, this is a normal Joker episode. First appearance of Harley Quinn.
Yeah, and it's the best Joker episode we've gotten so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wasn't expecting that. It was really just kind of a fun, weird thing. I'm like, oh, shit. And like I always go and do research on the characters, take notes of the first appearances. I'm like, well...
This is literally her first appearance.
This is literally her first appearance.
In the world. This was her birth.
And it's fun because she's just kind of there fully formed. It's so weird to go back and see like such a basic use of the character that's now become this huge phenomenon and so complex, especially this last year with Suicide Squad.
Right.
Oh, how the character has changed.
Just slightly.
Just a little bit. But yeah, no, I mean, we got a great Joker episode this week, and a pretty good Bullock episode too. I like both of these.
The first appearance of Killer Croc.
Yeah, these are both pretty solid.
Yeah, I think this is the first episode where both have been good.
Yeah,
or we have a lot of good things to say about them.
Yeah, that's true. Because I think, we've had like one-off episodes, so like obviously Heart of Ice, Beware the Great Ghost. But yeah, I feel like every other time we've done.
It's either one good, one bad, or two bad.
Yeah, or like it's a two-parter where like one of them's okay and one of them's a little bit better. But yeah, these are really solid. I mean, I think we're gonna kind of continue to see this trend a little bit. I feel like in general we're getting more frequently really good episodes. The storytelling's getting just a little bit sharper. You can kind of feel that everyone's getting just a little more comfortable in their roles in the show, and just keeps getting better. And I mean, again, Mark Hamill too. Here, like every episode, he's just
this. I feel like. This is the first time I feel like we're seeing the Joker.
Yeah.
Like the other times he's still working on it and he still has like little things he's tweaking on.
Yeah.
But when he opened his mouth the first time in this episode, it's like, oh, he's here. Joker is here now.
And as we'll see as we go through the episode, like the writers actually kind of gave him some stuff to do, like gave him kind of some stuff to chew on. He's not just kind of, never that he's ever flat, but he gets to be very dynamic in this one. It's pretty fun. So I guess we might as well jump right in. So Cameron, what happens in the beginning of Joker's Favor?
A lot. We have not really a lot. A very humanistic opening. This episode is written by Paul Dini, so obviously we know it's going to focus a lot on Gothamites and not as much on Batman.
Yeah,
it's a very big trend for him. So we open up to what's the guy's name?
Charlie Collins,
the guy who's having the quote-unquote worst day of his life.
Yeah.
Didn't get the promotion. His wife's making meatloaf.
Oh, meatloaf. Just his life's punching bag.
Yeah, he is. That's what he said. He's a life's punching bag.
He's sitting there stuck in traffic on the bridge. And
then suddenly police come and make him get out of the way. And then some guy comes and cuts him off, and he's like, you know what, I've had it at this point.
Well, so the police come, and then the Batmobile.
Right.
So he gets back in traffic, and he has to pull over for the Batmobile. And he's like, God, all these assholes. And so finally, someone cuts him off, and he's done. He's done with this shit.
This is the all it takes is one bad day.
Yeah, I noticed that, too.
I thought this was going to be like...
It's great.
I thought this was going to be a lot darker than it did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, all it takes is one bad day. He gets back in his lane. Another car cuts him off, and he's like, I've had it with this shit. And he pulls over, and he starts yelling at the guy, and we see that it's Joker in the car. And he's freaking out, as you would, that he just cursed out the Joker. Family-friendly cursed out the Joker.
Well, because I think Batman and the police, they're chasing after, I think, the Joker, right? Like, is he trying to escape from them? So he's just, like, stashed away in, like, a family station wagon.
Yeah.
Like, he probably killed some family and took their car.
Yeah.
But what I love about this is, so, Charlie looks over and he realizes he's harassing the Joker. And the Joker does nothing. Like,
he just smiles.
He just smiles. He barely even reacts. And he then goes calm. And he just slowly kind of creeps in behind Charlie and, like, is using his turn signal. Is just totally chilling there, completely calm. And Charlie is panicking, and he's, like, cutting across lanes. He's driving all erratically, doing everything he possibly can. And the Joker is just totally just going with the flow. And it's amazing how effective that is.
Yeah.
Again, because we know the Joker, we just know that that's how he works. You're waiting for that snap. But in that calmness, he's so...
You don't know, that's the calm before the storm. You don't know what is going to happen.
That's like him at his most terrifying, because you don't know what he's going to do. And it's so good.
Yeah. So he gets off the highway, he goes down this abandoned street, his car breaks down, and Joker is just there waiting for him.
Yep.
So he gets out of the car, and I love this little moment he throws 2 pennies down, and he says, "Here's my 2 cents."
Yeah.
And we get the wonderful Joker PSA, "Don't yell at people on the highway."
Yeah. We have to teach you some manners.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Road rage is not worth it. And he's, Charlie is panicking.
Yeah. Joker reaches into his jacket. Who knows what he's going to pull out? Charlie's fucked.
And he's like, "I'll do anything. Please I have a family."
Anything?
Anything.
Anything.
The magic word for Joker.
Yep.
So he's like, "You owe me a favor now," which is the worst thing you can ever do in this universe is owe Joker a favor.
Oh my God, right?
So then Joker leaves.
He takes Charlie's license, so he knows how to track him down, and he's just like, someday I'll call you up and I'll need a favor, and off he goes.
2 years later, something I was not expecting. 2 years.
No,
later,
I wasn't either.
The story
actually, yeah.
starts.
Yeah, so then we're at the GCPD, and Gordon's getting honored at a testimonial? I think is the word they keep using. Some sort of honor dinner in Gordon's name.
And Gordon doesn't want to go. Everyone's convinced him to go because it's good food, it's a nice place. And what I don't understand is Gordon goes into his office and Batman is just there, sitting in the shadow. He's like, "I think you should go." He's like, "I don't really know." And then he looks back up and Batman's gone.
Yeah.
Like, what was the point of him being there? There was no crime happening. There was nothing that Gordon needed to know about.
He was a little bored and lonely, Batman.
I think it was just Batman wanted to maybe Batman just wanted to congratulate Gordon as Bruce because he can't really do that without an event.
Yeah, it's part of his route, I guess. He just pops off and will just chill in Gordon's. Do you think he's ever just been standing there for 10 minutes, being like, where's he going to come back?
I hope so. I hope I hope there's places where the things we don't see is he's waiting around corners. And they take a different route, or they take a bathroom break first. Yeah, and he's just still
chilling there. I so hope that at one point, he was waiting there for 10 minutes. He finally gives up, and he's has one foot in the window frame, and then Gordon turns on the light, and they have this awkward moment. No, they have this awkward moment. They're like, I'm just gonna keep going. Go. All right, yeah, we just won't talk about this.
Is there anything you want to? No. Okay.
Nope. Okay. All right. Well, off I go. Yeah. But I mean, what I did like about this though is that the show has gotten to the point now where it's very comfortable with the fact that Gordon and Batman are friends. Mm-hmm. I mean, to your point, he didn't really have much reason to be there other than to kind of stop by and be encouraging.
Unnecessarily.
Unnecessarily, but they were. They had friendly kind of banter.
Right.
And I don't know. It's nice to see that a little bit. Mm-hmm. That they really are friends, and I think they do such a great job with that in the comics. And I think probably more so than any other medium, this show allows those moments to show they do respect each other, they do appreciate each other, and they are straight up friends. So it's it's a nice little moment. So, but then we go to Joker's headquarters,
right? Or he's seeing or he has the invite, or he has an invite to the testimonial, and he's upset that he's not invited because I think he said if it wasn't for him, then Gordon wouldn't even get this award because he caused all this chaos.
He really should be the one getting honored,
right,
for causing all these things. And there we get
the first appearance of Harley.
First appearance of Harley, yeah, and she's just chilling there, full costume, just hanging out. And
the voice is already down. That's what amazes me. They stuck with that, and it just
because
it's great.
Well, because I guess the way they kind of came to this sort of thing was they just needed a henchman. Here, they just for the sake of the plot, they needed to have someone else come in to be a henchman, so it wasn't just the Joker doing his own thing. And what I didn't realize was that the voice actress Arlene Sorkin was friends with Paul Dini for years, and she was she was on the soap opera Days of Our Lives, and in one episode she was dressed up in a jester costume, and so it was the inspiration of her in that costume that made him come up with.
Oh, that's
Harley.
Really interesting.
Yeah, in that sort of look, maybe even just the name too, Harley Quinn. And yeah, they had known each other for years. They known each other since college, and so they just brought in a lot of elements of her personality into it. So it's kind of fun because Harley is Arlene Sorkin, from the ground up, was envisioned based around this person, and the voice is so perfect. It has this kind of bubbly energy, but there is a kind of dark tone to it. Mm-hmm. It's fun. It's just cool to see her show up there, and again. We even talked last episode about how they always make an effort to make the henchmen have personalities. And this is the ultimate example of that. She literally was just meant to be a walk-on, walk-off character and is now one of the most recognizable characters, I'd say, in DC Comics.
Absolutely.
Credit to Paul Dini and Bruce Timm and these guys for knowing how to just put so much personality into what is otherwise an inconsequential character. Yeah.
And speaking of inconsequential characters, the other two henchmen, are they supposed to be Tweedledee and Tweedledum?
I don't think so. They have that kind of look. They have the
Yeah.
Tweedledee, Tweedledum look.
Yeah, big,
doofy,
dumb.
reading Tiny Toon Adventures comics.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, which I thought that was kind of fun. They have names. I just forgot what they were. I didn't
Yeah.
bother to write them down.
Right, I was supposed to research if that was Tweedledee.
Yeah, I don't think they are literally the characters though.
Okay.
I don't think those characters ever show up in animated. Oh no, are they in Justice League at one point?
No, it's maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll find out in 3 years.
I vaguely recall them being in Justice League, but anyways, we'll find out sometime exactly in the next 3 years.
Sometime in the future.
Yes, we know that now the Joker's plotting something with Gordon. And,
something with this testimonial.
Yeah, so I'm going to call up my old friend here. And what I did love is...
He owes me a favor.
He owes you a favor. And we actually see Charlie's old license. And we find out that he lives in Gotham Estates in New York. So I think Gotham traditionally is in New Jersey, right?
That would make more sense.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it's adjacent, so I suppose it works.
Right.
And we get...
Maybe it's like Kansas City, where it's part of both.
It's a little bit of both.
They don't want to move the border.
Yeah, right. That's too much work.
Yeah.
And we also get confirmation that the show does take place in like 1992. There have been other references before, like the People magazine and Where the Great Ghosts had like 92, and I think maybe something with Mr. Freeze, I feel like too.
I think on like the tape or something.
I might have been, yeah, the superbly edited tape.
Right.
But yeah, so it's kind of like they do have like tiny little details. But so we know he's going to go after Charlie, so we go to the suburbs. Did you spot the cameos in the suburbs?
I missed it.
Roberta and Sherman. In the establishing shot, Roberta is selling lemonade across the street, and Sherman rides by on his bike.
Okay.
And we're like, oh, cool. It's the same neighborhood, except for we find out that
he's in Ohio.
In Ohio,
Yeah,
Charlie has moved his family, changed his name,
as I probably would.
As I would
Joker
too. Absolutely, I would as
had
well.
That interaction.
I wonder what he told his family to convince them that he had to.
Probably just that, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
we should get out of.
We should get out of Gotham.
I feel like it's a pretty great thing to do. It's just like, hey, do you just want to leave this terrible city?
Let's go. Let's get out of here. But yeah, so Charlie, who's going by the name of Dawn now, gets a phone call from the Joker. It's like, hey, buddy.
You owe me a favor. Come back to Gotham, or I'm going to kill your family.
Yeah, as we'll just call them Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
As they drive by.
Yeah, and his family waves obliviously. So off Charlie goes, back to Gotham.
He is in the truck with Joker.
No, he arrives at the airport.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we get moments where we get exposition from Charlie's perspective. So we hear his thoughts, and he's like, oh, if only I could do something to like warn Batman and the police. And so he's inching closer to the police to tell them why he's there, and Harley swoops in, disguised as a chauffeur. Be like, hey, Charlie boy, you're coming with me.
So kind of every chance he gets to try and signal Batman, he's thwarted.
Because the Joker's actually pretty smart.
Yeah.
Crazy. Smart.
So then he learns the favor is all he has to do is open the door.
Yeah.
Because Harley is pushing in this big cake. She obviously can't open it at the same time.
Because they're outside the venue in the Crazy Clown catering truck, which appreciate it for its alliteration. But also, we've talked about this before, why are there any businesses left in Gotham that incorporate clowns? You would think...
At this point.
They would all be gone. Because this episode shows that even 2 years prior to this, people knew who the Joker was. They could just spot him and know who he was.
Yeah.
So you would think, if you had a business with any sort of clown relation to it, you would get rid of it because either the Joker would use you as part of his plot in some scheme because you're honing in on his clown territory, or the cops would probably just assume
that Joker has something to do with that.
Yeah, and would probably like raid your store and shoot at you. So I love that he shows up in the Crazy Clown catering truck. But I guess he's just never been a fan of subtlety, is he? Because you would think that there would be police station there who'd be like, hey, clowns. Should we worry about that?
No.
That
there's no way he would break into this testimonial party with all of the top-ranking police officers in the same spot.
Yeah, there are better places for him to be.
Yeah. So we see Bruce is there, and he's leaving. And so then Charlie enters. And he actually, funny enough, he's kind of created the first bat signal.
Yeah, he does. Because he's like, oh, I got to warn...
Yeah,
somehow.
So the testimonial is in a museum, I guess.
Yeah, a museum that includes something called the Hall of Inventions.
Yeah.
But it
feels like a museum thing.
It's basically, it's the plot device museum of Gotham.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Everything you need in one building.
Just, for your death trap convenience.
So he's still trying to find a way to signal Batman, and he sees a giant kind of bat contraption.
Bat glider of sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the old, like, Dick Sprang, big bat-faced wing glider things. I'm making all these hand motions, like the listeners can see what I'm doing. But you're saying the bat signal.
And so he kind of swings it through the mirror. I thought he was going to get, like, a light behind it.
Yeah.
I was a little sad he didn't, but he's swinging the bat in the mirror, and he's like, there's no way this is going to work. But it's kind of the only thing he can do. And we jump back to Bruce being driven away by Alfred. Alfred sees the bat in the rearview mirror. He's like, I think someone's calling for you.
Yeah, you're getting a bat page.
So Batman figures out that something is going to happen. You hear the knock on the door.
Oh, yeah. So, knock 3 times.
Yeah.
Charlie opens it.
And it's Harley dressed as a police officer, wheeling a cake. And what I loved, the great adult moment where Bullock thinks that she's a stripper.
Yes. Oh, my God,
stripper,
that was great.
Which is one of those great things that no kid would ever pick up on.
Absolutely not.
Purely for us.
So she gives him a good thwack with a billy club. Yeah, and she's singing like a little jingle.
Yeah, I don't remember what it is.
I don't know what it is, but yeah, she's basically singing a little tune that basically is like, oh, it all seems fine.
Yeah.
Surprise, guys, you're fucked. So then what I love is she blows like a police whistle, and she activates sound-controlled candles.
That's what I was trying to figure that out as well.
She blows his whistle, and then the candles go out and release a gas.
Yeah, it's not Joker gas.
It's not Joker gas. I thought it was going to be too, but it's a paralyzing gas. It just freezes people in their tracks. Don't know how that all works exactly. But they're all frozen, and she... Oh, that's right. The
Joker pops out of the cake, as you do.
I mean, he is the showman. Yeah, if someone's popping out of the goddamn cake, it's going to be him.
While they're frozen, he gives Gordon like a...
It's like a dynamite, yeah.
What's the thing at like prom and weddings that the men... Corsage, right?
Boutonniere? No, that's the waist thing. That's the waist thing.
I'm pretty sure it's a corsage.
Yeah, he puts it on. He pins it on his lapel.
Yeah. Yes, he pins dynamite on the lapel.
Yes,
he's trying to be fancy.
I know. Wait, is it? Hang on. Internet. What's a corsage?
You mean a boutonniere?
No, that's the waist thing.
No, that's a
cummerbund.
Ha! Thank you, Trevor. It was a boutonniere.
I hope all of this stays in.
Oh, of course it's staying in.
So while they're frozen, Joker's starting to leave, and Charlie realizes that he is glued to the handle.
Yeah.
So he can't leave.
Joke's on him.
Yeah. And he's like, Joker, you told me that I get to go home. He's like, I didn't stay alive.
Yeah, tough titties.
As Joker does. And just in the nick of time, Batman swings in.
He pops down through
the ceiling.
Skylight. It makes sense that he wouldn't break the glass because he literally just pops it open and falls through.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I mean,
he breaks everything.
Yeah, from a safety perspective, it makes much more sense too. It's not like people can get out of the way of the falling glass, but it's less impactful.
I appreciated it.
I mean, I like the detail, but
he's tired of paying, especially in this museum, which I'm sure has been broken into
numerous
dozens of times.
Yeah.
He's tired of paying to fix the glass.
He's also not supporting Alfred's side business of repairing Gotham.
Well, he doesn't know about the side business. This is Alfred's private. This is Alfred's secret identity.
This is just building Alfred's resentment towards him then.
Right.
But I was sad that he didn't break the glass. But anyways, he doesn't break the glass. He just pops down there.
In a very interesting way, he can't disarm the bomb. He doesn't have time. So he wraps his grappling hook around it and shoots it out of the building, where it conveniently lands on Joker's getaway car.
That small moment, though, is handled pretty well, because, so Joker and Harley are running out of the building. They hear an explosion. Like, wait, that came from outside, not inside. And Joker's like, quick, to the van. And Harley's like, oh, sorry, Mr. J. He got the van. They just literally pan over, and the van's blown up. That was actually pretty well done.
So Batman chases after them.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot. Because then Joker's like, oh, yeah, okay, well, we'll tough it out here, and it's a fun little moment. But yes, anyways.
So Batman chases after them, and they end up in kind of some Aztec temple.
What the fuck is that? Because so it's designed like an old Aztec Mayan sort of temple.
Some Central American.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing that Indiana Jones would work his way through.
Yeah.
So the Joker even says it's like an exact recreation,
down to the poison darts,
and spinning floor death traps over spike pits and flame throwers, and you're just like, this is a museum. Why would it have all these things?
Oh, so before we get to that, I forgot about he fights Tweedledee and Tweedledum They're using the greatest weapons that you could find in a museum.
Yes.
One of them has a bola. That's the Australian weapon to wrap around that you're supposed to wrap around people's
Batman
ankles.
uses them all the time too. You just throw them.
And the other one is using a lance.
A lance. Yep.
Which Batman just kind of sidesteps and he's defeated.
Yeah. As you would. I also love that Batman's counter to the bola is to throw a batarang, which you assume is going to cut it.
No, it just wraps it.
Pushes it and wraps the other guy. Like, oh, well,
physics.
If it works.
And I also really enjoyed it compared to last week's episode where we talked about like Clayface was the only villain that Batman should have trouble against. We see him against Harley, where she like grabs a knife and he literally just grabs her wrist and handcuffs her. Like that's how every fight should be for him.
That's how it should be. Yeah, she gets like tiny little bits of dialogue that kind of explain her a little bit. You know, she makes a comment about like she gives a speech like, "Oh my God, I'm just some poor innocent kid who got led astray," and then she grabs a knife and tries to attack him.
Yeah,
but it's the beginning of that kind of that image she projects of like being like sweet and innocent, but really quite deadly. Yeah, and then after she gets handcuffed, she's like, "Oh, beauty school is looking kind of nice right now."
Right.
So clearly she's not yet a psychiatrist. But yeah, so he cuffs Harley, and then he goes after the Joker.
Where in Batman fashion, in order to stop the Joker, he blows up the temple. Which, fine. Oh no! So Joker has another bomb.
Oh, that's right. Batman falls through a pit in the floor, like a revolving circular pit over spikes,
like you see in every Aztec temple.
Exactly. So the Joker assumes that he's dead, but somehow Batman's clinging to the bottom of it, and with what is, I'm assuming, his incredible core strength, flips the thing up and knocks the Joker over as he's clutching to it. Yeah, the Joker throws a bomb. I think he throws the bomb at him, right? Mm-hmm. And Batman throws it down to the pit.
Yeah, and so the whole place blows up. And then this might be one of my favorite moments. You see Joker
oh my God, yes.
Hobble out of the museum, and Charlie is there holding another Joker bomb. And this is why I think this is the best Joker episode so far. We see Joker's motive, his overall motive, and we never really see that. Charlie has this amazing monologue, which basically says, "You took away, like, I am nobody," and when this dynamite blows up, the newspaper headline tomorrow is going to be "Joker dies next to nobody."
Yeah,
and that's going to ruin your dream. That's going to everything you stand for is going to be ruined at that moment.
Yeah, like your goal in life is to ruin people's dreams, and now I'm going to ruin yours.
No, his goal in life is to die by the hands of Batman, the only person who won't kill. And so I think he was so distraught because he was going to die by the hands of someone else, by a nobody.
That's true. The Joker legitimately freaks out,
like screaming for Batman to help him.
Yeah. Yeah, and it starts out not quite so subtly, but he's like, "Oh, what about Batman?" You know, he's like calling for him. But he like legitimately like panics, and he's like, "Okay, fine, like whatever. Like here's all my notes on your family. Like I'll leave you alone. Just please leave me." And it's fun because he's truly desperate in a way we've never seen before.
Right. Kind of in any medium, we've never seen him like that.
Yeah. Well, because it's a moment where he's real,
and someone has kind of taken the spot of chaos.
Yeah.
They've taken the chaos away from him, and you see that he is, still a person.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you mentioned earlier the whole idea of Joker's philosophy is, one bad day can turn you into a monster. And he did that to this guy.
Yeah.
That he finally pushed him too far.
Pushed him, past the breaking point.
Yeah, and this random guy who he underestimated has now become more dangerous than the Joker because he's genuinely suicidal. Like, yeah. That's the thing. At the end of the day, the Joker is still like a narcissist. He's not going to kill himself, but this guy will. And so it's a moment for him to actually like break down and be truly fearful. And I'm sure Mark Hamill must have loved it too because it gave him something really juicy to do.
I loved this. I didn't really like that it was all a joke. So Joker looks into the shadow and he kind of loses his fear when he sees the Batman's just been standing there.
Yeah, it's like, how long have you been here? Long enough.
Long enough.
Yeah.
And then the bomb goes off and it's just confetti. And it says a boom sign, in every Looney Tune episode. Batman takes the notes, tears them up. Yeah. Charlie's free to go.
Yeah, Batman also laughs.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
It's always weird.
I didn't like that. No.
Oh, it's always weird.
Yeah.
But I kind of wished that he would have actually become psychotic.
Yeah.
I understand for a kid's show you can't have you can't put a nice bow on it.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to end with him like going back off, being really happy to return to his life, and at the beginning of the episode he was really bummed about it. He's even looking forward to Meatloaf.
It's not that bad. I don't understand why that was like a trope of the 90s. It's like Meatloaf again.
I mean, Meatloaf's kind of ass. I mean, it's pretty bad.
But you just like drizzle it in ketchup and it's fine.
Yeah,
Especially spicy ketchup.
I guess.
Oh, man, that stuff's good.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's a weird texture for protein. I don't know. It weirds me out.
I understand.
But I get what you're saying. But yeah. So I mean, yeah, it does kind of wrap up a nice little bow. But that is a great Joker moment there at the end when he finally really loses it. I'd say that although she's not the central character in this, the most noteworthy thing about it is Harley.
Right.
That it's her first appearance. But there's really, at this point, there's not much to talk about with her because she is going to evolve from here on. This is her.
Right, yeah. She doesn't have a backstory yet.
Yeah, her
she
starting
is just
point.
a henchman.
Yeah, it's like we're going to get more backstory, particularly with Mad Love later on in the show, which I'd forgotten that actually that was a comic book first from like 94, and they adapted it for the new Batman Adventures.
Okay.
And I know she's taken on different iterations over the years and like new weird shit with the New 52 where she's actually dipped in acid and then, of course, goddamn Suicide Squad. But she's great here. I'm really looking forward to seeing her evolve. Yeah. As we go through the episodes. Any more notes on her or on the episode before we move on to Vendetta?
Not too much. I mean, obviously, Paul Dini episode, I mentioned at the beginning, it's like he's so good at fleshing out the rest of Gotham. Like the show is obviously about the villains and Batman, but Dini is just fantastic at like giving life to the rest of the city. Like it's not just criminals and it's not just, this underworld, but there are still people there.
It's still real people living their real lives.
And the smart ones that just leave and
smart
go to
ones
Ohio.
that leave, yeah. I like the fact this episode opens from a normal Gothamite's perspective, stuck in traffic, and it kind of answers that question of like, what do you do when you're stuck in traffic? And Batman is in the Batmobile as part of a police chase. That would happen. It's still real life people. So yeah, so it's pretty fun. God damn it, he's a great writer, isn't he?
Yeah.
Wow. In Dini we trust.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So then I think at this point we'll move on to
Vendetta.
Yeah. Our first Croc episode.
Yeah.
So what happens?
So the episode starts off with the police escorting an informant through the bay, I guess.
Yeah, we kind of learn in a few minutes that he's taking him from is it Blackgate or what's the name of the prison? It's not Blackgate, something else.
Iron. I don't know. I feel like Iron Heights is a prison. I don't feel like it's this prison.
No, I don't think it is. But anyways, yeah. So they're escorting a witness from the prison across the bay in a boat and all.
And the informant is freaking out.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Spider Calloway or something like that.
Yeah, like, we're gonna protect you. It's gonna be fine. He's like, no, I'm not afraid of the consequences. I'm afraid of who's gonna come after me. And then it jumps to a bomb is on the boat.
Yes.
Boat blows up.
Yeah. Some figure swims by the boat, puts a bomb on it.
Boat blows up.
And someone grabs Spider. You don't see who, but someone grabs Spider before the boat blows up. And the police jump off into the water.
From their perspective, Calloway is missing, and Batman was watching the whole time.
On the shore, yeah, or on the docks.
Yeah, and so he does his detective work, and while the police kind of go and figure out their thing, he finds a toothpick.
At the prison.
Yes, on the prison side.
Which I did not pick up at first. I was like,
I missed that too.
Where did he go and where did he find a toothpick? I'm really lost.
And the toothpick is important because we always see Harvey Bullock chewing on a toothpick.
Yeah, who was down at the docks watching all this happen. So we know something's going on. The witness is missing. Bullock may be involved. So then we're back at GCPD and Bullock's kicked off the case. They don't really explain why.
Well, we learned that the informant is trying to bust Thorn.
Right.
From previous episodes. He's back.
And there's some ancient history between Thorn and
So we learn
Bullock.
In the next scene, Batman grabs Bullock's file right as Bullock is trying to
get his own file.
Right, to kind of probably clear out all this information.
Yeah. So why does he want his own file?
And we learn that Bullock used to do underground deals with Thorn.
Well, no, he was suspected of being on the take.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, but there was not enough evidence to prove it, and all that happened just before Spider got arrested back in the day, which means that Spider might have some sort of evidence against Bullock that didn't exist before that he doesn't want to get revealed as part of his testimony. Yeah, and we do know that Bullock is a suspect. We know he didn't actually grab Spider off the boat himself because he was on the docks, but that doesn't mean that he's not kind of pulling the strings in this whole thing.
Yeah.
At least that's what it's meant to think, but clearly he's going to be innocent. Yeah.
And Batman is positive it's Bullock.
Yeah.
Oh, but before, one of the moments that I loved in this episode is we get a new entrance to the Batcave. It was a very small thing, but we've had the bust, press the button, the piano, you press the sour key. This one, he moves the clock to be 12 o'clock exactly.
Yeah.
And the clock opens up to the stairway.
Yeah. I mean, because that is the traditional entrance to the Batcave. It's in the grandfather clock in his office.
Mm-hmm.
I think in a previous episode, we just saw like a bookcase slide open.
Right.
And I think I even read a bit of trivia that was saying like that episode and one other episode used that entrance otherwise from this point on, it's always the clock, which, yeah, because that became like canon because I distinctly recall it popping up at some New Adventure episodes and Batman Begins. Beyond.
Yeah, because Begins is the piano.
The piano.
Press the sour note.
Yeah, I like the clock. I mean, the most fun would be the bat pole. We've talked about this.
Oh, yeah, the bat pole is amazing.
The bat pole would be the absolute most fun.
So, yeah, Batman is positive that Bullock is the one behind all of this. Alfred is very skeptical, being the voice of reason as he usually is. You're trying to make Batman keep an open mind on this investigation.
Yeah, so then we go to the cave, and we see that
So it's kind of underground grotto.
Spider's captured down there, and someone comes out of the water. We still don't see who yet. And Spider is terrified of this guy. Pretty bad.
And then we jump to... There's a lot of quick cuts in this episode. We jump to Thorn.
Yeah, he's in his
apartment.
greenhouse.
I assume it was part of his apartment.
Yeah, his big like penthouse or whatever. And so Batman's there, breaks the glass basically to startle him, trying to get information. Doesn't think to go and disable all the guards before he does this.
Right.
Which, so as I was watching this, it made me think of Arkham and how, in some ways, the Arkham games have ruined like plots like this for me because you think of like, okay, if I were Batman, which you get to be playing the games, what are you going to do the first thing? You're going to go take out all the guards with guns. He just doesn't do that this time.
Well, I mean, he has his own method. So the guards come in, and he does the typical hides behind the boss.
Yeah, uses Thorn as a human shield, and even tells him, your goons better be really good shots.
And he has a very awkward smile when he's saying all of this.
Yeah.
And so he kind of takes him outside, and they swing across the building, and Thorn is freaking out.
As you would.
Not as torturous as last week.
Oh, right, with the guy dangling from the Bat-Wing.
Yeah, but still kind of a dick move.
Yeah,
on
still
Batman's
freaking out.
part.
Yeah, and Thorn's just claiming innocence. He's like, Spider doesn't have enough on me. I'm not worried about this. I didn't do anything with the boat. So we kind of have to take him at his word on some level on this. Somehow this convinces Batman that it is Bullock's fault. For some reason, he just trusts that Thorn's telling him the truth. Because then he goes and finds Gordon out at the dock scene, the dock still, as they're investigating what happened to the boat, and he pulls him aside and is like,
It's Bullock.
it's Bullock.
And that was a very touching moment because the whole show, everyone is kind of always against Bullock, and he's kind of against them all. And Gordon's like, I understand Bullock's a dick.
Yeah.
He's kind of an asshole.
He is.
But
He's
still
cop.
a good cop.
Yeah. And,
Like, he's not dirty.
yeah.
I promise you.
Exactly. So Batman's still skeptical. He goes over to the wreckage of the boat, which they've pulled out of the water, and he finds, we don't know what it is, but it looks like
a scale.
Yeah, it's a scale, but it's weird.
It's like a gray blob.
It's got like hands though, almost.
It's like Clayface.
It's like it's got
Clayface's
fingers.
back.
Yeah, well, it kind of looks like Clayface's like bladed claw hand. It's kind of this weird shape, but he finds this thing, and then we're back at the GCPD.
A shadowy figure dressed as Bullock enters.
Who sounds like him?
Yeah, they don't really go into that.
Yeah,
but
sounds like
whatever.
him-ish. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's dripping wet.
And the guard, Bullock asks to see one of the inmates. The guard checks the book.
Yeah,
And Bullock's like, or the Bullock figure is like, I don't have time for this, and just knocks the guard out.
it's easier.
And he goes and takes another prisoner.
Joey the Snail.
Thank you, Joey the Snail.
Yes.
I did not write his name down.
Yeah, and so at this point now, there's enough evidence, and so an arrest is warrants issued for Bullock, and all the cops swarm at the diner he's at with Montoya, and they arrest him. So he's in trouble at this point. So now Batman's back at the cave, and
This might be some of the most forced bad writing in the series to this point.
Yeah.
Batman is researching the scale. It's human, but it's also reptilian. Alfred comes in with soup, right?
Yes, French onion soup.
Yes.
Bruce's favorite.
And if it gets too cold this time, remember it's in a
It's in a microwavable.
crock.
Yep.
Not crock pot, not
No,
like
just a crock.
just a crock.
It's in a crock.
And Batman's like, a crock. Alfred, you're a genius.
Of course.
God, that was rough for me.
So
I paused it at that moment. And I'm
yeah, it's like,
that really just happened?
Oh, it's bad. So then Batman changes
Go-
back into Bruce.
Yes.
Drives all the way down to Ocean Worlds to go to the crocodile exhibit to be there long enough to get a critical piece of information, which is
Was it something? What was
the
it?
crocodiles live in caves underwater.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah.
again, of course, underwater caves.
That must
Back
be it.
to the Batcave.
Yep.
Back
to
into
the
Batman.
suit.
And my note here was like, this is super inefficient detective work. And apparently the original ending had the fight at the end with Croc at Ocean World. So
Okay.
that's why they introduced it. I'm like, why do they bother having this
Okay.
whole thing? But my other thought was, doesn't Batman have the internet?
That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
Is every other time we've needed this kind of crucial piece of information, he has this supercomputer to just kind of answer the question for him.
Yeah, like
Where do crocodiles live in the Bay River?
yeah,
Or in the Bay.
I mean, again, it's the early '90s. The internet is in its infancy, but we see the Batman has all this fancy tech, and you're absolutely right. Like when he needs the information, it's there, but when it's not, he drives all the way down. And I even thought because it's like it's just a big database, and he even says later that he's like scrolling through headlines on microfiche, which is like we see that times in old movies too, where it's like microcells of old newspaper prints, and he's scanning through that. So he has a huge database of that. But I guess no internet, not this day at least.
Right. He goes to the cave,
He finds Spider and
Snail,
and
it's the first time we see Killer Croc.
yeah,
I don't like his character. His like,
his look.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't either. He definitely got better with the redesign of the new Batman Adventures. They made him more reptilian.
Right. This one, he's just kind of a gray. He looks like a not strong Hulk, like the original Gray Hulk, like a not strong.
He's just
version
kind of like
that.
this weird, like gray, kind of blue. He's like not really scaly. He's kind of more bumpy.
Right,
It's not a good
He
design.
has sharp teeth. That's kind of the only thing. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm a crocodile.
Yeah.
I've got pointy teeth.
Which gives him super strength, basically, is what he says. Because he basically just beats the crap out of Batman and shoves Batman underwater, trying to drown him. And, of course, go to commercial break, Batman in peril of drowning.
Yep.
At least Croc is strong. It kind of makes sense. I assumed he was going to use some sort of fancy gadget to get out of it.
Nope.
But, Cameron, what does he do to get out of it?
His super core strength.
Yep.
He swings his legs up from underwater and kicks Croc in the face.
Yep.
And the two, Snail and Spider, get breathing apparatuses.
The
from
same
something.
ones that Croc put on them to get them
Oh,
to the cave.
that's
They
what
put
it
them back
was.
on and swim out.
I missed that part.
And
I
then
just thought they just
Just
came
have
out of
them.
thin air. Yeah.
would have been feasible. Yeah, so it's a Batman. I think he ties Croc up real quick, right? And then he follows them to get them out
That
of there.
hog tie practice comes back into use.
Yeah. So he grabs the goons, and they get away. They actually do get away. Clearly, Batman turns the goons over to protective custody, and now he's back at the cave, and he's on the microfiche.
And we get that oh so necessary. I actually like this. It's a very limited backstory,
It is, yeah.
but you learn so much about the character.
You do.
He was from Miami.
Of course he is.
He was originally a carny, then became a pro wrestler,
Yep.
and then moved to Gotham to become a criminal.
Yep. Normal career path.
Yeah, I guess.
And then we also find out that he, as a criminal in Gotham, he was busted by Bullock
Right.
on testimonial from Spider and Johnny the Snail, or Joy the Snail, whatever. So that's, now we know why he's
Croc
out
wants
for revenge
revenge,
against Bullock. And so he's going to frame him. So basically what Batman decides to do is use Bullock as bait because he needs Croc to come to them. So we're at the GCPD. Croc gets in the car with Bullock.
Well, Bullock gets in the car and Croc is
Thank you.
driving.
No.
No?
Bullock's driving and Croc hops in the car and it's like, we're going
Right.
for a ride.
And then, of course, sitting in the back seat in the dark shadow is the Batman.
Yeah. Just kind of awkwardly pause at Croc.
Yeah. And then they crash the car.
Bullock crashes. Yeah.
And conveniently right next to the sewer entrance.
Yeah.
And we have the ever so necessary fight in the sewer.
Of course. Yeah. So, Bullock's knocked out. Croc goes in the sewer. Batman follows him.
Croc says something which we talked about before, which is basically I think he says, "This isn't your bat. This isn't no bat cave. This is the sewers. This is my ground."
Yeah, because everyone knows
And
what the
again,
Batcave
yeah,
is.
even the villains know what the bat cave is.
Yeah. God, he can keep no secrets. Batman does play it smart, though. He puts on what I assume were going to be night vision infrared goggles, but I think they're actually more of a filter. Yeah,
Like a light filter.
A light filter, and then he throws off a flashbang, which blinds Croc, which gives him a slight advantage as they do a little tussle. And then Croc gets him in a headlock or something?
Well, Croc starts the sewer starts to fill up with water.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then so Croc, when it gets deep enough, Croc jumps in, and obviously his environment is water.
Yeah. Slight advantage.
So he pulls Batman underwater, and Batman kind of wraps his grappling. He's used his grappling hook to get out of a lot of situations these past few episodes.
Yeah.
Wraps it around Croc's arm. Croc has him in a chokehold, wraps a grappling hook, fires it at the sewer wall, and in an attempt to free himself, Croc breaks down the wall and the whole structure starts to collapse.
Yeah, he gets buried under bricks. And then Bullock, now conscious, back on the street, sees the sewer hatch pop open.
Batman hobbles his way up, and you see that he's carrying an unconscious Killer Croc.
And, Bullock's got his gun pointed at him for kind of no good reason, really. But then he even asks him, it's like,
why did you save him?
Yeah, why? No, not only why'd you save him, but why'd you stick up for me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, after all the shit I've done, why'd you stick up for me? And I forget. Batman basically is just like...
Oh, I thought this was a huge moment. Because I remember in the first episode we talked about this, about how Bullock hates Batman because he sees him kind of encroaching on his turf.
Right, yeah.
And so this I thought this was a huge moment for the two of them, because Bullock, why did you save me? And Batman says, we both have different ways of enforcing the law, but we both believe in it. Yeah. And that is the truth. Through line for those two characters is they have different ways of coming at it, but at the end of the day, they both just want Gotham to be a better place.
Yeah, they believe in the same things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Harvey Dent.
They do. Everyone believes in Harvey. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so then that ends it on a nice little note. They found like a little brief moment of solace. Mm-hmm. So there's only so much to say about like Croc himself. He's definitely kind of like a C-level villain. Like he kind of has appearances and other things, but he's never been a big thing himself. Like his whole thing is that he has an atavism, which is basically a genetic trait that has disappeared from the human genome that just randomly reappears. That's why he's all reptilian. Mm-hmm. That's about it. I'd say if you're looking for some good stories with Croc, Hush. Yeah. He's in that. He's really good in that. He's in the Batwoman run, the really good Batwoman run that kind of was at the beginning of the New 52. Did you read any of that?
I haven't read that one.
It's pretty good. And unfortunately, the writers left before they really had a chance to wrap up some like big storylines. But
because I remember there was that huge. I think that this is the same run. There was that fiasco with the cover art being like too sexual. Was that the same series?
I don't know if that was the same series. For me, I remember the big controversy on that was that the writers wanted Batwoman to get married to Maggie Sawyer because she like proposed to her,
right,
and like they had like a normal functioning relationship, and like no, you can't let them get married, and so that's why the writers left, and they left like one issue before like a major resolution. Yeah, so it has kind of a ending. Oh. But it's still really good. There's some really good stuff in there. He's in that. He's in Batman Earth 1, Volume 2, which I've forgotten about. I haven't read that in a while. And then, of course, he was in the Arkham Asylum comic. And then
Endgame.
And the game. And I think for me, like, the Croc fight down in the sewers of Arkham, the first Arkham game, that's really, really good.
Oh, yeah. It's one of the... It's so much fun.
Like, in some ways, I feel like that's almost like the best adaptation of Croc we've seen, even maybe more so than the cartoon, is that scene. Because it really gives you that, like, that sense of fear that you're, walking over the water. Where is he? Is he going to get you?
So my question is, what is... So there's Killer Croc is obviously the more popular of the, like, sewer dweller villains. Yeah. But there's also Shark King. Is that his name? Mm-hmm. Why do they have him as well? Because I remember the first time I saw Shark King was in The Assault on Arkham.
Oh, yeah. That's really good. That's
animated
a really good movie.
And the whole time I was just wondering... I mean, obviously because they needed... Spoiler, they needed someone to kill. Yeah. But I never understood why there's basically two of the same character.
But I mean, we have Plastic Man and Elongated Man.
Okay, we're not going to go into the rubber, the rubber family.
Blue Beetle.
Don't hate on my rubber boys.
Green Arrow and Batman are almost the exact same. I mean, we get a lot of those kind of rehashes. So I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. I've seen less stuff with Killer Shark. I think he's more Flash. Right? Trevor, he's more Killer Shark's more Flash villain than Batman villain.
Yeah, he was also with Suicide Squad and like Task Force X.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think Croc is more kind of exclusively Batman. He's kind of a good big henchman to throw in every once in a while when we need one. Yeah, he was okay in Suicide Squad, right? Yeah, like the last two episodes, major characters from Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's not a good movie. But I thought Croc was fine, more or less. Yeah. Ish.
He was about as important in the movie as he was in this episode.
That's absolutely true. Yeah.
What actually, I forgot to mention this. So he has this really, really awkward hobble when he's running towards the water.
Oh, yeah. It's like a weird,
and I realized they use
shuffle.
The same run in Suicide Squad.
Oh, they do. And he crawls across the ground.
It's like the 3-arm crawl.
Yeah.
Like he throws his legs. It's like a like a gorilla run, but only with one hand.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought it was hilarious that they took that, of all things you could take from source material, that's what Suicide Squad stole. Or not stole, was inspired from.
Yeah, it didn't bother to take the complex psychology of Harley Quinn or her much more intricate backstory.
No. We need
personality.
We need this 3-second hobble into the water.
Yeah, but hey, at least they grabbed something.
Right.
They know where to make their picks.
Yep.
But any other notes on Vendetta?
No.
No. All right.
So it's just kind of a fun little episode.
It was fun. The thing is, we're teasing it. It's actually pretty good.
We get some great character development with Bullock and Batman. Bullock backstory.
Yeah, and Croc works.
Yeah,
he's pretty fun. Okay, so now it's time for Bat Plug.
Bat Plug.
So what do you got for us?
I took a little break from the nerd life and I watched a normal sitcom.
What'd you watch?
Sitcom? I don't know which genre to put this in. It's an Amazon series called Red Oaks.
Okay, I saw that advertised.
Yeah.
Is it good? What's it about? I don't really know.
I had a lot of fun with that series. It's just it's about, it's almost like Caddyshack, the series. It's about a bunch of college kids on their summer break working at a nice country club.
Oh, that's pretty fun.
Yeah, and the first episode, I didn't really think I'd like any of the characters because they're not like stereotyped characters. They're all a little weird. Like the ones you obviously follow, the high school or the college kids. There's the pot smoker one, the guy who has no idea what he's doing with his future, and then it's like the aged tennis instructor who's hilarious, and his rivalry with the golf instructor, which I thought was great.
That sounds really good.
And there's 2 seasons, it's like 20 episodes. I pretty much watched it all weekend.
Oh, nice.
It's just kind of like a fun little palate cleanser kind of show.
I'll have to go check that out because I saw an advertisement for it. I'm like, oh, what is this? It's kind of fun. It's a comedy, right? Or comedy, dramedy?
Yeah, more comedy than dramedy.
Okay.
Yeah, what have you been watching?
Funny enough, I also kind of took a break from the nerd thing, and I started watching Insecure on HBO. It's Issa Rae's show, and it's really funny. Like, she has just amazing comedic timing. So I've been watching like Westworld and John Oliver and
Everyone
Real Time.
should be watching Westworld.
Yeah,
since we're at Nerdist, plug to Ptolemy.
Oh, of course, yeah. That our improv
for the greatest, most hated character in the show.
Yeah, good old Sylvester on the show. It's always weird for me to watch that show because I'm like,
right,
because his character's so different.
It's a different experience. I don't know for people watching if you know anyone that's been in a TV show or movie before, but it's a whole different experience watching it because you know the real person.
And for those who don't know, it's the character of Sylvester. So the 2 techs that are working on Maeve.
Yeah.
Tandy Newton's character, but he's the asshole of the 2 of them. Yeah. But it's just funny because like it's so different. But as I've been watching all this HBO stuff, I've been like seeing what else they have, and so I decided to watch Insecure, and it's really good. I highly recommend it. So I only just started, but it's really funny.
Cool.
But yeah, I think that's it for this week. So you can always find us on Twitter and Facebook and Gmail and all those things at Timm Talk Pod.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was a really clunky way to say it, but
it's fine. Yes. Enunciate. You can find me at Cameron Dexter on everything.
And I'm at Lordifer. And once again, thank you to Trevor Reese for coming down and being our audio engineer. Go check out his podcast, the podcast of 2 Worlds, all about the Flash. And as you could hear, we're recording down at the podcast booth at the Nerdist School, where Ptolemy works. Good old Ptolemy of Westworld. So go check out nerdistschool.com. And thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Bye.